Right, guys, you might remember the government actually did something good during all this crap that they have done when they cut the international aid budget. I would have cut it more, but we will take what we can get from governments at this point. I think most of you would agree. Naturally, them doing that salt-mined Labour MPs and even some in the Tory party, like the traitorous witch and former Prime Minister Theresa May, because sending our money abroad likely benefits them greatly or did at some point. It is certainly not because they care about the British public finances, but then again, when does any politician care about that? Even in a normal year, this money could be better spent on people here who need it, so this year, with all the government is doing, only reinforces that fact more and more each day. As we all know, the country is on the balls of its arsehole thanks to cherry-picked data and fear-mongering models from Witty Valance and the rest of them that Boris now follows without question. And of course, we cannot forget the nagging lefty spunk trumpet Carrie Symonds, who is likely in his ear all day, nagging about green policies that will cost us all trillions. So it's kind of obvious to anyone with half a brain cell that we need all the money we can get kept here in the UK, not send it halfway around the world to fund some gender studies bullshit in Pakistan, like the US Congress recently decided was a good idea for some reason, when obviously it's literally just lunacy. Now naturally, the Guardian is getting salty about this because they fully support everyone else but the British people and are happy for taxpayers' money to be sent around the world while Brits miss out here at home. They ran an article earlier complaining about it with the headline, UK diplomats told to cut 70% from overseas aid budget. Which if you ask me is fucking great news. Why not cut it 95% or 100% no is what I find myself asking now. Why does any other country require this money more than the people here who are now destitute thanks to the government's actions? Obviously, shitweasels at The Guardian and Labour MPs and MPs in general don't really care about that. They only care about things that will make them money or gain them power in any way, shape or form. The article says British diplomats have been instructed to find at least 50% cuts in UK overseas aid in the next 6 weeks in advance of the next financial year, the Labour Party has said. You mean the Labour Party has bitched and cried about? Sarah Champion, the chair of Parliament's International Development Select Committee, said, "Our ambassadors have today been instructed by the Foreign Office to cut 50 to 70% from the aid budget." Because obviously that's what the people voted the Conservatives to do. You know, people voted Conservatives in to do things that they wanted. They haven't really done them, just a few select ones like this. So the Guardian sitting here moaning about it and even Labour MPs doing it shows they are against the people. And Sarah Champion is probably one of the better Labour MPs out there. As you might know, she's been one of the very few MPs that have been up against the grooming gangs in this country. While most hide their head in the sand, she has actually come out and complained about it and got it some publicity. Though of course the media still avoid talking about it whenever they can. But aside from that, she is completely fucking wrong on this one. The people do not support this money going anywhere but into the coffers of the British people. After all, it is their fucking money, let's be honest. Describing the speed of the planned cuts as catastrophic, she added, "There is no doubt that lives will be lost as a consequence and our global standing as humanitarians destroyed. Welcome to day 26 of Global Britain." People like this are so fucking stupid. That is not what Boris meant when he was talking about Global Britain, you complete fucking idiot. Boris Johnson meant Global Britain as in a way of trading with the world, not as in we are going to send our money to the world for fucking free. Yes, we know Boris Johnson is a globalist shitweasel, that goes without saying at this point, but that is not what he meant by Global Britain, or at least it didn't seem like he did. When he spoke about Global Britain in 2019 lead up to the election, and of course when talking about Brexit, it was in relation to fucking trade deals. How do these people not understand that? The Foreign Office, it says, is due to make a written statement setting out its aid spending plans. So far, officials have been more forthcoming about the parts of the budget that will be protected than those that will have to be cut. The current foreign aid budget is approximately 15 billion, which if you ask me is 15 billion too much. It says Labour's claim comes before the Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab appears in front of the International Development Select Committee for the first time since the Department of International Development merged with the Foreign Office to form the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. Critics have described the merger as in effect a takeover of the aid budget. Well, so fucking what if it is? It needed to be taken over and put under control. As I've said, I would have went much further, so the Labour Party really should shut their mouths. The merger, completed at speed last autumn, has coincided with a £5 billion cut in the overseas aid budget this year, caused by the collapse in annual growth as a result of the coronavirus crisis. The annual UK aid budget is currently legally set at 0.7% of gross national income. Why the fuck is it legally set as anything? I don't know about yous lot, but I was never asked whether we should have a legally set amount that we give to other countries. That is just fucking bollocks. obviously there just to put money into the friends of politicians. This is what these overseas aid budgets really do. It says, but the Foreign Office announced before the Integrated Defence and Foreign Policy Review that the aid budget would be cut from 0.7 to 0.5%, a reduction that UK legislation allows as long as it's temporary. Ministers have said they will introduce legislation to allow a more long-term cut to 0.5%, but they are likely to face a backbench rebellion over the issue, including from the former Prime Minister Theresa May and the former Aid Minister Andrew Mitchell, because they're a pair of snivelling shitweasels. It really pisses me off how happy these politicians are to send our money around the fucking world to every Tom, Dick and Harry. I bet they wouldn't be so happy if this money was coming out of their bank balance, let me tell you that. And the rest of it there is just them moaning about it going down and all this bollocks here. I've already said it shouldn't even be at 0.5% or 0.7%. We are obviously not here to fund the world, gender studies degrees or anything like that in any other country. I don't care where the fuck it is. Especially not in this year while we're all in the shit and people are losing their jobs, businesses are going under, people are losing their homes, taking their lives from suicide, and the government and NHS is just fucking us all off. Here is at least something that the government is doing that I can get behind, so well done on that. Unfortunately, there probably won't be very many of these in the coming weeks and months. The government just seems to be cocking everything up. Conservatives in name only, if you ask me. It's looking more and more like we voted in Jeremy Corbyn rather than Boris Johnson every day. I'm sure most of you would agree.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors. Slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going and we are glad to be going. We're off.